So let me get this straight. You had a dormant channel posted ukulele and guitar covers 2 years ago, and suddenly you are breaking down live streams from an American creator screaming in different cities in China. Why Speed? I didn't even know who Speed was at first. It wasn't about him, it was about Miles. The translator from the Beijing stream? Yeah. Chinese platforms were already buzzing at the time, but most people only caught 2 of his problematic moments. When he mistranslated a barber's compliment as raggedy, and when he called Speed's fans crazy, not normal, that caught my attention. So I watched the full Beijing stream carefully, and what I found was even worse. More subtle digs, more disrespect, but it was so coated, so indirect, that most people, I believe, especially Western viewers, would read it as dry humor. So if no one stood up to explain it clearly in English, it would just be lost in translation. And it wasn't just annoying, it made me angry. At the time, I was going through something in my personal life, some bottled up frustration I couldn't shake off. Then I saw that CCTV, not the security cameras, obviously. I mean, China's central television literally blurred out Miles' face in their coverage of Speed. And I thought, perfect. It's safe. The system already said he's done. So yeah, I grabbed my editing app and I told myself, if this man's traffic is about to leak, I'm catching every drop. But you started from Shanghai. Starting with Miles would have looked too emotional. I needed to show I wasn't just mad, I was watching. So after Beijing, what made you keep going with the whole series? Because the reactions to Beijing and Shanghai episodes were amazing. I got likes, comments, warm, thoughtful ones. For a tiny channel like mine, it felt unreal. Some of the messages were genuinely touching, and even though I was still a rookie at editing, often staying up past 3 a.m., fumbling with cuts, those comments lit something in me, that feeling of, wait, maybe this matters. And also, from that point on, I realized something else. I needed someone, a native speaker, to help polish my language, because if I didn't, I'd probably edit myself into the grave. So I hired my friend George.
Hi, I'm George. I fix grammar and follow instructions. That's all.
Let's talk about the comments you got. I've read all of them. Every single one. Some made me laugh, some made me rethink. A few made me question everything. I think they fall into categories, actually. Like the one under my Chengdu video. It basically said, the thumbnail doesn't do its justice. You focused way more on other content than on that racist girl. You should have put Unk on the thumbnail. He's the one going viral. And they were right. I didn't see it at first, but now I realize the thumbnail was algorithmically confused. So what did you do? At that time, I had a bit of a brain fog going on. I was genuinely confused about Unk's behavior online. Some things felt off, but I couldn't fully process them. And as a small creator, I hadn't yet learned how to separate emotional noise from creative judgment. So I hesitated to say too much about him. I wanted to wait to observe how things unfolded before I drew conclusions. I wanted to get it right. As for the thumbnail, I used the racist girl for clickbait. But in hindsight, it wasn't even good clickbait. It probably hurt more than it helped. So later I just removed the word racist from the thumbnail. Then there was one under my Shanghai episode. Someone pointed out that I totally messed up my driving unit. I said if I drove at 100 miles per hour from Ningbo to Shanghai, it would take about 3 hours. But obviously I meant 100 kilometers. I replied to the comment and corrected it right there, and I pinged it because I know I will make mistakes. I'm not flawless, no one is. But to me, owning my fault and growing from it, that's more important than pretending to be perfect. Then there was this one comment under my Chongqing episode. Someone said, I hope I didn't bring stress by asking about Ankh so early. And I remember just sitting there feeling really touched because honestly, they didn't need to say that. They didn't stress me out. It wasn't their fault at all. But the fact that they paused, reflected, and circled back to show that kind of care, I felt it. It stayed with me. You weren't just being watched. You were being considerate. Exactly. That comment reminded me there are people out there who don't just consume content. They notice, they care. And then there are the ones who showed up again and again. One of them, a 52-year-old Black American, left long, thoughtful comments under almost every video. One comment under the Beijing episode really stayed with me. He said that at first, Miles' translation made him think Chinese people were rude, but after watching my reaction, he realized it was Miles who created the conflict in translation. He also explained that using the word raggedy to describe black hair is actually a classic racist trope in his cultural context. That taught me something I didn't know. I didn't grow up in a Western country, so I wasn't aware of that kind of historical discrimination.
Yeah, I've seen him a lot of times.
That's a loyal supporter. Yeah. Especially for someone like me, non-native speaker, trying to break into this space. It felt like a huge boost of encouragement and support. So, what did all these comments do to you? They made me realize I'm not just talking at people. I'm starting to talk with them. And maybe that's how this whole channel really started. In your Beijing video, you clearly expressed the strong disapproval of Miles' behavior. And that episode got the most comments, likes, and views by far. A lot of people were on your side. Some of the comments even said things like, here's a jack, and yet you didn't reply to them. Why? George, do you remember?
Oh, I remember.
I thought it was some clever movie quote, like a character I'd never heard of.
I told you. Nope, not that deep. It's just a polite way of saying jackass without getting flagged by the algorithm.
See? This is what I mean. Those comments, I get why people are angry, but I didn't want to join a pylon. I want my video to focus on pointing out harmful behavior, not turning to personal attacks. I'm not trying to paint people as just black or white. And honestly, I'm still learning how to handle all that. This whole thing, it's a process. Actually, there was one type of comment that didn't last. They just vanished. Yeah. In my Beijing reaction, I said Miles' remark, anime is Japanese, was biased. Some people didn't like that. They replied, anime is Japanese. I almost responded, but then it seems like they deleted their comments. So what happened? I went full-on linguistics mode. I looked up anime in the Cambridge dictionary. It says it usually refers to Japanese animation. But then I asked my Japanese friend, he told me anime in Japan simply means animation, period. All animation, Chinese, American, 2D, 3D, is anime. Even Nerja Second is classified as anime when released in Japan this year. So they ghosted themselves before you could correct them. Maybe. I wasn't mad though. I was just glad I checked because the truth, once again, was slightly more complex than the internet wants it to be.
That's the plot twist you didn't know you needed?
And what happens after Speed? Are we down here? Down? No. We're just switching universes. Speed was the trailer. Next up, Misunderstood by Default. A series where I compare Chinese and Western cultures, and also a documentary mystery project with black humor based on my own true experiences. And yeah, more reactions to Western creators too, like Mr. Beast. A documentary and a mystery series. What's that supposed to mean? Well, I can't spoil too much, but it's coming before mid-June. It's built on real events from my life, and I hope it will speak to anyone who's ever felt stuck in a system they didn't create. This time, I want to make it properly. Better tools, better craft. I'm currently unemployed, which means for now, I can pull everything into it. Well, I've got to say, this little team of yours runs pretty tight. East meets West, tea meets coffee. You and George, quite a duo. Yeah, he's the one in the background. But he's got his jobs, research, polish, and the occasional emotional support at 3 a.m.
Correction, frequent emotional support at 3 a.m. Also, I don't get paid enough for this.
You don't get paid at all, do you?
Still underpaid.
Okay, we will talk about that later. It's business confidential. Alright, this has been unexpectedly insightful. Can't wait to see what you do next. You've got something here. Weird, chaotic, but very alive. Thanks. We are getting started.